Hello there guys, it's Ebird Online and I'm here with my first review from 90 Day Fiance, and this is Season 7, Episode 11, Blindsided. So today I'm going to be covering Mike and Natalie and Emily and Sasha. Very quickly before we start, thank you so much to everyone that's subscribed. Thank you for joining the Ebird flock, and for those of you who are yet to do so, please just press the red button, and also don't forget to like the video. It's very important you press the like button, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at mbird99. So first up, Mike and Natalie. And what can we say about Mike and Natalie's relationship that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? It's a bomb site. And when we first catch up with Mike and Natalie, they're still in the apartment. Still in the apartment? Now I know I've been a little distracted with Love Island, but I swear I saw Mike getting into a taxi at the end of last week's episode. Suddenly he's back in the apartment. Maybe he forgot a pair of socks, who knows? So Natalie says to Mike, can we stop this farce? Natalie, I say that to TLC every single week. And Mike says, come to the airport with me. And she says, I'm not going. And Mike goes to get into the taxi, and Natalie talks to producers, and she says she was very disappointed that he didn't want to talk, he just wanted to leave. Natalie, as forceful a personality as you are, Mike's not going to miss his plane to chit-chat to you, you ridiculous degenerate. But somehow, magically, Natalie ends up in the taxi, and she must have decided to go with him to the airport after all. And again to producers, Natalie says, maybe it was all my fault. Maybe I behaved in some kind of way. Natalie, you behaved like head bitch in charge, and you know you did. And she said, so to make up for that, in the taxi, I tried to release some pressure from him. Oh really? Oh, thank God for that. Finally, Natalie's seen sense. But then the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen from this couple transpires. Natalie sits next to Mike in the taxi, and she says, you're a good man. Everything is okay. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Your mum loves you. Your dad loves you. Look how beautiful you are. You're such a handsome man. Look how gorgeous you are. And guys, it was basically as if she was soothing a 2-year-old child that had just fallen over in the playground. She was basically buoying him off, treating him like an idiot. And Mike tells producers it really was a tough situation. Natalie was being very childish. Mike, take heed of this, because this is a window into your future. She will never change. So after launching your ring at you last week and telling you that she doesn't love you, she decides to sit in the taxi and, for want of a better phrase, take the piss out of you. And if we weren't sure before, now it's definite. Natalie's a lunatic. And Natalie, when you say you're a Christian, what exactly do you mean by that? If you really are a Christian, you need to realise that you're no good at it. Take some time to reflect and choose something else. I hear that Scientology have got spaces. Sometimes we have to admit defeat. So last week one of my subscribers said that Natalie is entirely typical of Russian women and Ukrainian women, and because apparently, according to him, the Ebird doesn't know any Russian women, I'm not in a position to judge. So just to let everybody know my position on this, which I'm sure I've said on previous videos anyway, I don't subscribe to the view that any one race has one particular characteristic. So Russian women may be more forceful than American women, that may be the case, but all Russian women do not behave like Natalie. My second ever business partner was Russian, and whilst admittedly she was a loon in different ways, she was nothing like Natalie. Many of my subscribers are Russian, I'm sure they're not like Natalie. So just to let you know, on this channel, I analyse what I see on screen and nothing else. I'm just looking at the interaction that I see between Natalie and Mike. And I personally see that Mike is a nice and reasonable person, and I personally see that Natalie is a grade A piss taker. That's just what I see. I don't believe, and I hope that you guys don't believe, that Natalie is representative of all Russians or all Ukrainians. And I do want to have a chat about this at some point, but I guess that's another video. And then when they get to the airport, Natalie says to Mike, what can I do? And he was like, it's fine, do you need me to get you a taxi, and do you want to go back now? And she said, no, I want to go with you. And she looked super sulky. And Mike said, I've got a lot of emotions, I feel really frustrated at the moment. She was asked a very simple question, and I was not expecting that response. And obviously he's pertaining to when she was asked, do you love Mike? And she said, I'll grow to love him. And Mike says, I'll call you later when I get back. And Natalie just stood there staring at him like a demon child, and those cold staring eyes, the same ones that stared at him in the park that day, are back. And then Natalie explains to us that all she said was, I said to build a relationship is a hard job, and love doesn't come right away. And then she said, and after that, I gave him the ring. You gave him the ring. You gave him the ring. You threw the ring metaphorically and actually back in Mike's face, Natalie. You tossed it at him. You chucked it to him. You launched it at him. You didn't just give him back the ring. Gave him the ring. Don't make me sick. And we know that that's Mike's mother's stone in that ring as well. So she's doubling down on the diss. Mike walks away from her in the airport. He's is very upset, and so she goes and says, "What's going on? I'm on your side, nothing bad will happen. Natalie, something terrible has already happened. It's standing right in front of me, talking shit to me in a Russian accent. That's what's happened." And Mike said her attitude's terrible. She acts like a kid, she doesn't take things seriously. And he said, "Alright, I'm going to go to my gate, so come on, walk me to my gate." And she just said, "Go." Say what? And he said, "Well, give me a hug then." "No." And she gestured again, "Go." She let him walk away, and she just gave him a really strange look, as if she was somewhat amused. And guys, I don't really like to drag people, but do we think that Natalie's possibly has some sort of mental issues? Because it seems to me as if she's flipping. 1 minute she's like, "Oh Mike, let's sort it out." And then the moment he doesn't want to do exactly what she wants to do, on the flip of a switch, she just changes. I've never known anybody so changeable as Natalie. And next time we see Mike, he's at home, and he tells us he's both depressed and sad. He says in a couple of days, he'll call Natalie and see what her thoughts are and see where they go from here. Mike, you want to see what Natalie's thoughts are? Well, don't worry, Mike. Ebird's here to save you the trouble. Her thoughts are evil. Her thoughts are also selfish and sinister. Her thoughts are diabolical, and her thoughts are utterly contemptible. That is what her thoughts are. And you want to know where you stand, Mike? Again, the Ebird can save you the trouble of finding out from Natalie. You stand knee-deep in shit. That's where you stand. Producers ask Mike if he's engaged or single, and he says, "I don't know." "Mike, you're single." And the Ebird's very worried about Mike at the moment, because I feel as if he's going to step back into this awful relationship. Mike, the Ebird, is both charitable and magnanimous, and as a humanitarian act, I'm going to highlight all of Natalie's gaslighting ways for you. If this indecision from you carries on, I will make that video, and I'll make sure the information gets to your ears. Please don't test me, Mike, because I will do it. And then Uncle Bo walks in and he tells us he's been to the casino. I've only been to the casino a couple of times, but I wonder to myself, what kind of casino lets Uncle Bo in? And he tells us all he's lost pretty big. Oh shit, losing big at the casino, that can wipe a person out. How much did you lose, Uncle Bo? $25. Oh Lord. When gambling, Bo, remember this: when the fun stops, you stop. And then Bo asks Mike how it went, and Mike tells him not very well, but you could tell he's really reluctant to talk about it, and he wanted to process it himself before he said anything, and it was definitely all still too raw for him. And I think it was a massive shock. Even though he knew he'd had lots of problems with Natalie, he didn't actually think that she just didn't love him. But don't worry, Mike, Bo's on hand to help. And Bo tells us, "I had a couple of women. I know how things in life can be, and I've been through quite a lot in my life. Yeah, I know about these things." And somehow, looking at Bo's demeanour, clothes and teeth, I think we're probably reaching back into the vestiges of history, to a time when Bo last had an interaction with a woman. But nevertheless, I'm really glad that he's here, because you can tell Mike really cares for Bo, and Bo really cares for Mike. And it's good that Mike's not sat out in the middle of his tree farm all on his own. And so Mike finally tells producers things are not looking good. And the producer asked, if Natalie said let's get back together, what would you do? Really, right now, I don't know. After all this, Mike, you don't know. Right, that's it, Mike, you've broken me. This video is happening. I'm going to be doing a video at the weekend on Natalie and her gaslighting ways. Guys, watch out for it. Mike needs to have this broken down for him. And that's everything. So guys, tell me what you think. Do you want to see a video on all the ways in which Natalie's been gaslighting Mike? And also, what do we think of Natalie? Do we think she's just not a very nice person? Or do you think there's more wrong with Natalie? It's very strange. It's strange to me how she oscillated between really nice to Mike, really patronising to Mike, and then really straight up evil to Mike. As far as I'm concerned, it's so strange. And lots of my subs have been saying it's because Natalie's 35 and she wants a baby really badly. But why didn't she have a baby with her ex-husband? But I think, guys, I've cracked why she didn't have a baby with her ex-husband. If you're always on your period, Natalie, it's very difficult to conceive. So let me know down below what you think. And next up, we're going to be talking about Emily and Sasha. So we catch up with Emily and Sasha, and they're walking in a beautiful park with baby David. And this park apparently is in Portland. And guys, it does look absolutely beautiful and very peaceful, and the park's full of gorgeous flowers and roses. And Sasha picks up baby David and his pushchair to carry him downstairs. And Emily tells us, this is why I'm so glad I'm living with a bodybuilder. So you're with Sasha because he can pick up a pushchair. Although I have to say, picking up baby David, pushchair or not, is quite an undertaking. But if that's your criteria for being glad to be with Sasha, I worry for you, Emily. And also a word to the wise, if his past is anything to go by, Sasha will always have a 1-year-old in a pushchair on the go. Emily tells us, "We've been staying with my sister Betsy until we figure out where we're going to be living, but there has been non-stop arguing." And so she's keen to get out. She's keen to go back to Portland. And Sasha, well, Sasha's a fan. "I really love this place. I really like it." And Emily points out it's the most expensive city in Portland. And she tells us, "Sasha's very relaxed, but we have hard times coming. Neither one of us has jobs. And Sasha can't work while we're waiting for the green card. There's a lot on my mind." Well, that would be a first, Emily. That would be a first. And then Emily tells Sasha, "I love it here. I love my hometown. I love Portland. I wouldn't want to raise our family anywhere else." And Sasha says, "Yeah, I have the same opinion. Me neither. Sasha, you are raising your family in other places. Your kids are growing up in Russia." But Sasha's stress-free. "I really like it. I want to live here, really." And Sasha tells us Emily's got a lot on her mind. She's worrying about the baby, she's worrying about work and getting a job and where we're going to live, but it will all be fine. And it seems as if Sasha is being super laissez-faire about the challenges that they're confronted with. Yes, Emily has got worries on her mind. The faster you can get this green card on the go, Sasha, the faster you can get back to 18 hours a day at the gym, 10 hours working and 8 hours doing who knows what. And so Emily says, "I think we should get married ASAP." And then Sasha gave a very laissez-faire, unconcerned, "Yeah, sure." "That's all you've got to say," said Emily. And you could tell she was worried because she knew she'd just said to Sasha, "Let's get married." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And it showed her that getting married to him is just a walk in the park, as they might say. No big deal. Certainly not vows which last for life. And then she says to him, "Do you know what ASAP means?" And he says, "No, you've never taught me that." And she says, "ASAP means as soon as possible." And he says, "Oh, I see. And then you can tell Emily was really relieved because he just said, "Yeah, sure," because he wasn't really sure what ASAP meant. Phew, he is taking this whole wedding seriously after all. And then Sasha said, "Why have a big wedding? This marriage is just for us. There's no need to spend a lot of money." And Emily said, "Yeah, that's true, but I'd like to have a nice dress. I need to look for my dress as soon as possible." And then Sasha gives another unconcerned, laissez-faire, "Yeah, sure." And what this "yeah, sure" means to both Emily and to me is that Sasha sees getting married as no big deal. He's not even excited about it. To him, it's just a procedure, a process, no big deal. Oh, Emily. And next time we see Emily, she's with her sister and they're going wedding dress shopping. And Emily tells the shop assistant she's getting married in just 2 weeks. And the shop assistant says, "Don't worry, we have a lot of rush weddings. We can sort this out." And Betsy tells her she doesn't approve of the wedding. That's a surprise. You hadn't mentioned it. But she's here to support Emily nonetheless. And I think at this point, Betsy, you're buying wedding dresses. They are actually getting married. This is definitely happy. So it makes sense now to just be happy and get behind this marriage. Emily's giving it a go, and all you can do is support her at this point. There is baby David to consider as well. So I think Betsy's little asides at this point aren't really needed. And Emily tells us she's always wanted to get married on the beach, and that's what she's going to be doing, but it's going to be a very small wedding. And it got me wondering. I thought, what about all those hours that Sasha did? Did they pay off? Because none of the money seems evident. Maybe the Russian ruble is worth so little that that's why he has no money saved and empty pockets. And so I did a bit of digging, and I discovered that the average wage for an experienced personal trainer in Russia is the equivalent of almost $11,900 American per annum. And whilst we look at that and think that's not an amazing wage, it's not terrible. And if you're working 18 hours, you should be getting up to £6,000 more for all your overtime. So he should really have been looking at a salary of about $16,000 to $18,000. You should have some savings, Sasha. Where is all the money? And we shouldn't always set our stall out on averages. I mean, after all, the average heterosexual couple has one breast and one testicle and 3/4 of a brain. Yes, men, that was aimed at you. But I still know averages mean something. And I do think to myself, Sasha, where is all that money? Where is the cash? And it's all good and well for us to think, I bet he was carrying out clandestine affairs when he was supposed to be doing all this overtime. But I've got another theory. I think that Sasha has money stashed away for himself, and I think he'll ride Emily and ride this visa process for the 2 years that he needs to. And if he can manage to do 2 years in this marriage, he can then leave Emily and baby David and be on his own. And I think then he will have money in his bank to set himself up that Emily knows nothing about. And that's why I think he was doing all of that overtime. And you can really tell that Sasha wants to par this wedding back as much as possible. I say this to you, Emily, this is your first wedding. It's his third, so it's no big deal. deal. Of course he doesn't want to spend money. It's only for a couple of years. But if this is your first wedding, make sure it's nice. Make sure you have a dress that you want and go at least somewhere to getting the wedding that you want. If I have no money, I just spend anyway. People then start knocking at my door, and in time I start getting letters through and emails telling me there's someone out there to help me to consolidate all my needs into one handy manageable payment. This strategy is not for everybody, but it works for the Ebird. Anyway, in this dress shop, she tries on quite a big wedding dress, and her sister says, oh no, it's too much, it's absolutely too much. You need something carefree, casual, and a little less formal. And Emily says, oh my god, Betsy, you don't have to be a Debbie Downer all the time. And she tries on another dress. Yep, I'm sure about the dress, but I'm not that sure about the husband. And even the shop assistant tells us it was really awkward and uncomfortable, and even though they're sisters, the atmosphere was not great. But when she put on the second dress, it did fit her quite well, and when she put the veil on, her sister started crying, and she said she really looks like a bride now. And Emily said she was surprised, and she was glad Betsy was crying, because finally she feels supported. So my take out from all of this is, let's just throw our support now behind Emily. This wedding is happening, and you can tell that Emily's not entirely happy, but why make her more unhappy by making constant digs, Betsy? Yes, we know Sasha wrecks homes professionally, for a living. This is what he does, this we know. But you can't do anything more than you've done. And the best thing Betsy has done, I think, is saying to Emily, if everything goes wrong, if ever you need me, you and baby David have a home with me, and I'm here for you. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Sasha gives an F about this wedding? I really don't think he does. Emily's a new mum, and in order to relieve the pressure and stress that she feels, Sasha should be saying, yep, let's get married as soon as we can, and the moment we get married, I'll apply for that green card and I'll get personal training straight away. In the meantime, I'll get my CV put together and I'll start compiling a list of all the local gyms that I could possibly apply to. That's what you should be doing, Sasha, instead of saying, yeah, she's an intelligent girl, it will be fine. That's not enough. But guys, let me know what you think, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm nearing the 18,000 mark, which is absolutely amazing. I've only been making videos for 6 months now, and so I'm really pleased with how the channel's going. But please, if you're watching my videos, don't forget to support, and please follow me on Twitter at mbird99. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.